Hey, good evening, and welcome into the Evine Invicta YouTube show. Invicta Ryan's here with me.
Good to see you, buddy.
Same. I have a bit of a ring in my ear.
I do too.
You hear
I
an
have
echo?
just a little echo, but it's okay. But
Maybe it's exclusive for YouTube.
it could be.
Could
It could be.
Not everybody's going to be able to get that, but we can. All right. Tell everybody how they can participate in the show online.
Well, yes, obviously if you're watching the show right now, you're on YouTube, but we'd like to hear your comments during the course of the show. We'll try to read as many comments as possible. I'll try to keep up with everything here in front of me, and also we have a monitor in front of us while Brian's talking, try to address any questions you guys have during the course of the show, or anything special you want to just tell us. So yeah, that's a big deal when it comes to this show.
All right. First up. And before we start, everything is Invicta Reserve throughout the entire hour.
Yeah, very cool. I haven't had an all-reserve show for years.
Well, tell everybody what they get when they're buying a Reserve Invicta.
Let's start out with that. So when we're talking about the Reserve, we're talking about just the best, the top of the line of everything that we make at Invictus. So you have something that's usually limited more in terms of production. Some of the watches you'll see tonight are actually numbered limited editions. The watch is hand-assembled, hand-finished, hand-tested. And typically you'll find more unique designs with the Reserve collection. So if you want the absolute best, you turn into the right show tonight. So, okay, what we're starting out with is the Sub-Aqua Nomo 1. And so this is a really, really popular watch of ours. It really kicked off the whole Sub-Aqua collection, and this is that actual Noma series.
So let's talk about purple abalone.
Yeah, purple
that is
abalone.
Awesome.
Well, we've used abalone for about just over 2 years now, and we've had some of the different colors. We had just that natural color with the greens and purples. We even had a red abalone shell, and we also have the purple. And we believe we're the first people to actually have this sort of color of abalone shell in any sort of dial of a watch ever.
I was just going to ask you to clarify. Tell everybody what abalone is, because you see it in a lot of high-end jewelry. You see it in inlays quite a bit, and a variety of things. You know, even pieces of furniture have it. But to find it of this grade with this much color is really extraordinary.
It truly is, and so it's actually derived as an organic material that's derived from the mollusks. And so from that, it's every single abalone shell will be entirely different. And so you'll just see the dominant colors of the deep, rich purples and the pinks that you get within the blues with this particular color for that abalone that we've created. And just very, very special. And when it comes to this watch too, Brian, it's special also because when we're talking about that reserve level and with this and the abalone shell, they're numbered limited editions to only 999 of each. And what we have available is just the 38 millimeter size. We don't have the standard 47 millimeter.
Yeah. So let's go through the choices. You have gold, silver tone white down here on the end. You've got the gold tone white, gold tone black, and then you've got the rose tone in the black strap. So these are silicone straps, up to 7 3/4 inch wrist.
That's right. So as long as the wrist size are 7 3/4 or smaller, you can get into this. And a lot of people think that a 38 millimeter is dedicated for women exclusively. And I think that this watch is probably geared a little bit more for women because it is that modern lady size. But if you're a guy and you want a 38 millimeter watch, you can get into this. You can still wear this as long as Brian mentioned. Your wrist size is 7 3/4 or smaller. Or even if you want to gift it to those teens out there too. Is this watch available?
Yeah,
also?
actually, we do
have 147. Okay.
Right. We only have a couple of these. So if you are interested, we can probably come to my wrist. Your item number is 642037. In fact, while we're there, let's talk about the case in the back.
Yeah, so with the case in the back, the unidirectional rotating bezel, the comfortable strap that you're talking about, it's a silicone band, very, very comfortable. And the ISA quartz movement on the inside, it's one of our go-to companies out there for quartz movements, and of course that abalone shell. The case back, and I'll show on this particular watch here.
It's cool.
And when you're ordering, you want to order by the case size, either 38 or 47 millimeter, and then you want to order by the case color and then the strap color. So this is actually at 38 millimeter silver tone white. And when I turn the watch around to the back, you'll see here, this is where that information is, that screw down case back. It will give you your numbered limited edition. And I believe it's right at the very top of the dial, just above the dragon. You'll see it says anniversary edition. And I believe this might be #1 out of that 999. Sometimes Evine does get that #1 because it's first off the production line. And Evine is the first to sell and has that exclusivity, usually with a lot of different watches, first and foremost right out of the gate.
I'm going to grab this one so you can see. We have just a handful of the larger in the 47 millimeter. So I've got the 47 millimeter on. I just threw on the 38 millimeter. I think we have single digits. It's the white silver tone, and that would be a little bit larger. That one will fit up to a 9 1/4 inch wrist. So Ryan's over at the monitor. He's going to check in and see who's busy with us.
And so what we do during the show, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we interact with you, and I come over to the monitor, read a couple of the questions that our producer has highlighted, and John says, Ryan, tell them to put out a watch checklist so we can check off when we get each watch. I like that idea for a watch checklist. And then Mark, that would be a huge checklist, which I agree. Let's see, love these abalone dials, check, 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 check. And I love the abalone dials too. I do have a couple watches that have the abalone shell. Absolutely love it. It's just really something special out there. And in fact, other watch companies now have picked up on that and are incorporating that abalone shell into their dials also.
I like what Jake just said.
What did he just say, Jake?
And the Emmy goes to Ryan Evine, best guest host.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's very nice.
I'm surprised that's not highlighted by our producer right now. So. All right, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to go over to the next presentation. I'm going to go back to Brian here and hang out. And we're going to get on with the next
more questions, please.
Yeah, we'll take questions.
We also have the 12-piece watch tool and sizing kit. So when we get to some of the bracelet watches, Ryan is going to highlight how easy that is to work. You know, one thing, I apologize. We have a 3-slot dive case in that gold tone that you saw that was out here with the Excursion. So everybody who orders any one of those watches we just shared a moment ago is going to receive that. Okay, iridescent watches. These are huge. This is like a whole new subcategory in a variety of different categories that you already have in Invicta.
That's right. So what we do is we've taken this iridescent look, and it almost looks like it's been heat tempered. You know, when you take a flame up against metal, it'll actually alter colors, and it's basically that look that you get with this, with the dominant colors of the purples and the greens and some of the blues that you get, even yellows that are part of this watch.
Can you tell us how they achieve the iridescence?
Well, it's a little bit proprietary to us.
I mean, don't kill me if you have to kill me once you tell me.
You know,
or at least don't do it here on air.
Just a short choke, would that be okay?
With like half of how you do it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I could say this. What we do is when we bond that color, and we do it with the same process as our Swiss gold layering technique. So you don't have to worry, because I know you asked before the show too, like what the durability is with it. You don't have to worry about it. It's just on for the life of the timepiece when it comes to this watch. So you can do basically anything you want. And of course, this is part of that reserve line too. So you're getting simply the best from Invicta.
The bold Zeus.
And yes, and this is in fact one of our most popular selling designs over about almost the last 6 years.
Do you think it's the cable?
It is, yeah. I believe we had other watches within the Bolt collection that just had one cable, and everybody thought it was really, really cool. And now, when we have the cable design, you'll see the cable has been incorporated into both sides of the case, to the bezel, and then also both sides of the bracelet also. So it's that signature characteristic that you'll find for every single one of the watches within that Bolt collection.
Hey, it's 55% off. That's a pretty sweet deal. We already started off. In fact, we're back to back. 53 on the first, and 55% off, or 54% off rather, on this one.
Yeah. Oh, here, a couple questions. I'm just looking down at the monitor. Mike, thanks for your questions here today. Does anyone know if there has been a Meteorite dial on a Thunderbolt? I don't believe so, not yet. That would be actually really, really cool. And
we should talk about the Meteorite watch in the show.
Yes, we do. You want to say that?
Yeah. Could we put that up really quick? I know we're kind of jumping out of order, but we're not planning on having a presentation on this one, and I really wish we could, because it's 77% off.
It's probably the lowest price Meteorite watch I've ever presented.
Yep.
And it's a really big
deal. Can we show that, Mike, really quick?
Yeah, maybe
after in a moment or right after this one. We could do that too.
Yep.
Okay.
And then let's see. Quentin asks, how many would want an Invicta smartwatch? You know, I was watching a show once, and somebody did ask Al, he's the CEO of the Invicta Watch Group, if we're going to do smartwatches. And at the time, he said that's really not kind of
their wheelhouse.
Our direction, our wheelhouse. Yeah, our forte. We have done the anadigis before. We've incorporated in, you know, the analog and digital formats, and we had about 22 different functions within a watch. But in terms of that smartwatch, I haven't heard any plans yet, but we can always ask him, and maybe, maybe his mind has changed a little bit and thought, you know what, this is a big market that, we want to get a part of also, so we'll definitely pass that through.
Yeah. Okay, here we're gonna, for those of you who are interested in that Meteor watch, this is the only one that we've got in our show. It's 642-534. The regular price is $1,350, and tonight, 309.33.
Yeah, if you want,
Is that a mistake?
it's a
or what is-
38
You would know
millimeter.
better than me.
It's a 30. Well, if it's a mistake, we roll with it because
No, because she had said this is the lowest price meteor dial watch
I've
that
ever
he had
presented.
ever.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
so-
38 millimeter. It's at Sub-Aqua Nomo 1. So think of that first watch we presented, but just
Yeah.
with the Meteorite dial. It's a really cool price.
So these are the links on the side that he was talking about. Now we do have the toolkit for taking out links out of bracelet watches. You want to also talk about the micro adjustments
we have-
right here on the side?
Those
here.
right here. Yeah, I can point that out.
Thanks.
All these little holes right here. Those are your micro adjustments. So when you're taking out links from your bracelet, and I think you veterans pretty much know, but if you're just tuning in for the first time, want to just find out, you can adjust those micro adjustments just perfectly. So if you take out a link and it's a little bit too tight, you can put that link back in and adjust the micro adjustments.
Sure.
And get that perfect fit and feel. And of course,
So it feels
when you're-
custom.
Yeah, and of course, when you're taking out links, you want to be able to take out the same amount of links per side. If you have to take out 4 links, you don't want to take it out one side because then your clasp
Yeah.
enclosure is just going to be on the side
And
of
it's a
your
little
wrist.
bit more work, get it?
Yeah.
You know, because you have to address both sides, but you just don't want the clasp on the very back to be ill-placed. How's that?
Let's
for
see,
a better-
can we scroll up for a second, Mike? You said there was a question. We do have an iridescent Magnum. Hold on a second, AJ. I'll tell you right now. Brian, if you can go for a second, I'll find
Sure. Let me just go ahead and introduce the next one. It's this one has got the maple inlay in 3 different colors, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is probably a watch that many of you are saying, you know, what's next in my Invicta collection? I like the fact that they've stained the wood. And
Yes.
how rare is that for Invicta?
Yeah, for Invicta, we started incorporating wood into a few of our watches. We did it before and we brought it back about not quite 2 years ago.
Okay.
But we've only done a few select watches. We actually call it our Wildwood collection.
Okay.
So what we have is that we have maple inlay that goes for the bezel for the dial, and there's also a side on the left-hand side of the case that's opposite there, the function pushers, that also has that inlay as a part of the case design. And it's just considered to be an exotic material with watches because it's not used all that often.
Now, this is the most limited out of the 3 choices. This is that blue furnished case design. It's also got the blonde maple on the inside. I mean, they really took nice cuts of wood there. You can definitely have a conversation with somebody just over the dial and the bezel.
Yes.
I like the blue furnace screws going around too, really
Exactly.
nicely finished off with the white leather strap.
But then if you want to just get a little bit more exotic, these other colors too.
Gold tone, here we go.
Gold tone is hot. You have that, almost that, it's a green, but it almost has a green turquoise
or like
flavor to how we've dyed
Or like
the
a
wood.
rare jade.
Yeah, I like that.
Expensive jade is that exact color. So it's with the gold tone, and you're getting a navy strap on that one. So nice contrast all the way around.
And
And then, of
fiber.
course, we've got the gunmetal.
Gunmetal
And that's where you're going to get that deep, deep forest green, almost like a British racing green.
Again, just a
on that
very, very
stain.
hot color combination.
That's my favorite
here.
of the 3.
Is it? You know, I like
Love
that
the
too.
British racing
But then
green.
the white strap with the blue. And AJ, here we did have it. I saw it today, and actually our producer pulled it up. It's item 645246, and there is that iridescent Magnum. So that's what AJ
Brand
was
new?
asking. We've had it just I think on 1 or 2 presentations, and that's
Okay.
it.
So, pretty darn new.
Hey, thanks for your question, AJ. Glad we could deliver on that.
And yeah.
Thanks, Mike, our producer.
So the maple inlay watch, you're saving more than you're spending on this one, 53% off. So I like, you know, it's nice and it's high off the hand too. I mean, this has got
Oh,
some
yeah.
presence to it, but
Yes.
with the presence, they see it. With the maple inlay, you get more to share with it. And you know, it's nice to have something new in your collection that is very different from the other watches that you've picked up over the years here.
Well, that's
What
it.
about the strap? Integrated strap?
Yeah,
Custom made
yeah,
just for this piece?
Perfectly integrated strap that's built exclusively for the Swatch, and
Nice.
it's called the Sea Dragon. And so what it is it's this newer design. It's less than 2 years old, and what it is, it's pretty cool because if you see these caps that go off to the side here. These are actually the breech hatches for the torpedo tubes in submarines.
Sweet.
So basically, on the submarine, you pull open these hatches, and then
Here's your pushers.
yeah, and that's where you set the torpedoes in, and you lock everything down. The torpedoes are ready to fire.
As if.
But that's the brilliance of Invicta, and just how many different designs we come
Look
up
at
with,
that.
and the inspirations that just are derived from our design team out there.
Love that British racing green.
Yeah, I like that too.
53% off too. So you're saving $320 picking that watch up here. And we do have value pay. If you've shopped with us over the years, you're probably tired of hearing of value pay. If you're brand new, it is interest-free payments on any major credit card and just one value payment and a shipping and a little tax, and the watch is coming right to you. So you make payments after that.
All right,
one a
our
month.
good friend and collector Johnny P out of New York. He was on our cruise last year. He's asking, and he's just in regular font. He put it in caps, so he is very adamant about this.
Everybody wants to be noticed.
But everybody, and that's how I write, just so people can see what I happen to write on the chat. But he's wondering about the Star Wars update. I don't have an update yet. I don't know if there's quantity, if we're going to have some more here, because we're going to have a huge event coming up this Saturday into Sunday. It's going to be a big deal. I'm going to be on a lot of shows. Justin's going to be on a lot of shows. Eyal's going to be here, and also Jill. So all four of us are going to be a part of this 24-hour block that we have over the course of the weekend. And then, of course, in a couple weeks from now, we just got our tickets today. We'll be heading to Mexico to finish up that final leg of the 16th anniversary with Invicta and Evine.
Nice.
Am I going back here? Okay. So, but
tell everybody whose idea that was to come up with a YouTube show, and tell everybody what they're going to be able to get watching us now and on other weeks that maybe you wouldn't see during a regular live broadcast at evine.com.
Well, this is something different. We can sort of take our time when it comes to, because when we're broadcasting in 90 million homes, there's a lot of overhead that goes into that. And,
sure.
The overhead is a lot less on this, so we're just a little bit more loose during the shows.
Well, we could take more questions, which is nice.
More questions, and that's the big thing is we just love. I mean, I know you do too with all the different shows that you. We love taking callers on the show and like listening to what they have to say. And with the YouTube format, I mean, we can just, you guys, it's cool because not just one of you has to wait on the phone testimonial call and then you can finally get in. I mean, this is real time, interacting back and forth with you guys, just like with John asking about the Star Wars watches and stuff. So we just encourage your ideas, and I'm actually going to save all the chat log. And then if there's anything, well, after the show is done, we really can't interact, but I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to bring it to Evine and also Invicta.
Thanks, Mike.
Just in terms of...
he loves the YouTube shows.
Well, we love you guys too.
Thanks.
And that's what we want to do, is we want to take some of your ideas and see if we can actually develop them.
They like the green dial too.
Yep.
Yeah, inlay is very nice.
Oh, Time Universe has 4 clocks in the main watch. That is correct. Mark asked, any Quadros coming up, auto Swiss made, hopefully. Actually, we might have a couple left with either a Meteorite dial or the Pave Diamond dials. If you're interested in that, you can search that. Just type in Quadro on Evine's website.
Stu wants to know where Justin is tonight. He's got the night off?
Justin, I think he's just relaxing and just having the night off. We have a big night. Actually, Justin and I will be on Invicta Power Play tomorrow.
Great.
With Allison. So Justin and I will be here
what
from
time?
9 to 11 Eastern.
Okay, great.
Yep, this is my first
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, appreciate that. I feel better now watching Evine on YouTube. That's from Brutus. That's great, Jeffrey.
Was the other show painful?
I don't know.
This is less painful. I feel better.
It's, in a sense, we're doing the YouTube shows. They're, for the most part, anchored at 11 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and also Fridays, for the most part. So you guys can kind of bank on that, share that with your other watch community friends out there, and just let them know. And we just want to have as many of you as possible and just listen to your comments and interact with you guys.
Yeah, we all learn something that we maybe wouldn't learn during a regular broadcast. So.
Yeah.
The next one up is right here on your screen. It's the specialty Sub-Aqua 52 millimeter Swiss Quartz Chronograph bracelet watch. It's 50% off. And again, everything in this YouTube show is a reserve. So there's special privileges that come with the reserve. Can we talk about the warranty real quick?
Yeah. So with the warranty, what it is, we've just changed everything with the warranty. And with this, it was different before. Before, you had a 5-year warranty that came standard with the reserve models, and the non-reserve models, you had to register the watch in a couple different ways. And we decided, you know what, let's just get away with all of that, and let's just make it as simple for our customer as possible. And so we just have a standard 3-year warranty out of the box, reserve and non-reserve. So you don't have to register the watch, you just have to hold on to your proof of purchase, which is your Evine invoice, and you can, actually that's stored electronically within your Evine account if you need to reference that at any time, or else just hold on and put it in a little file folder at your desk with all your Evine invoices.
Wow, I'm seeing case and cradle. I'm seeing a lot of complications on this, which definitely ups the craftsmanship that went into the making, yes?
Yes, this watch really was our most complex watch up until about 6 years ago because,
Okay.
yeah, they're actually, Brian, a typical watch, like the watch I have on a Grand Diver. I know all of you are familiar with Grand Divers. You know, there are about maybe 5 different components that make up this watch. And that's pretty much standard for a lot of Invicta watches, just watches in the industry, 3 to 5 different pieces. When we're talking about this watch, what's cool is there are about 48 different pieces that make up this particular watch. And so even with the bezel, we have 3, let me get my pointer here. We have 3 different components with the bezel. One, the outer ring here for the bezel that's highly polished, the matte finish right here for the center, and then also the ring, the inner ring, which is done in a satin finish. Then we have all 6 different screws. So we're talking about 9 different pieces.
And those
right
are real
there, just for the
screws.
bezel.
Yeah.
They are. And then when you're even looking at the case back, this is cool because the case back of this watch actually has more pieces than a typical watch. Because again, you'll have the case back here, you have the center component, you also have the outer ring, and then this is that screw down, more complex with the medallion back case on this watch. So this is all just drenched in that 18 karat gold, the case and cradle design, and then this movement also, that 8040N from Ronda, which is a very complex movement. Tells you the time, tells you the date, tells you the day of the week at the very top of the dial. And there's also a 10-hour stopwatch, which we call the chronograph. Now let's see.
Got a little bit of glare there.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
Mark asked, when did the Sub-Aqua specialty line start? Before or after the Nomo? I believe it was just after the Nomo, and we're probably at about, I believe it's 10 years on this now, Mark. So we've had this collection for quite a long time. And let me tell you, I mean, it's just, it's a big watch at 52 millimeters, but with the design of it, and it's, you know, all of our watches, we want it to be ergonomically correct, is just very comfortable. Mr. Kessler, that watch looks really hot. Right
It feels
on your
great.
wrist.
I mean,
If you guys can see
it's got some really nice weight to it. Really nice weight to it.
And let's see. Yeah, look at that watch on Brian.
Yeah.
I think Brian's definitely rocking that watch. And your wrist size, I guess, is probably around 7 1/4 or so.
7.5. Yep.
7 1/2. Okay.
I'm impressed by just this.
Yeah.
This design, how the bracelet
we call that
goes into that case and cradle.
We call that the skeletonized lug system.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and it just really makes that bracelet fold over if you have a smaller wrist, or widens out if you have a wider wrist. Let's see, Wolverine in Michigan. Evine does have good customer service. Evine appreciates that. That's very cool to see. Let's see what else do we have here. Cruise is going to be awesome. Can't wait to meet you all. That's again, John. Actually, if you guys haven't booked the cruise yet, we're over 70% booked. I just received an email on that with an update. John was out there last year. I had the chance to meet John briefly. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I know I'll spend some more time with him this year out on the cruise. If you guys are on the fence about joining the cruise, just go. You're going to be, I mean, look at, you guys are all interacting right now. You'll see all the fun that we had here. But you guys are interacting right now just with messaging back and forth. You get the opportunity to have a drink, to sit down and have some dinner. Go and do some gambling on the ship. Go to the parties together. Meet us. You get to see behind the scenes. You get to meet the hosts.
I love cruises.
Yeah, and I
Cruises
mean, the thing
are
is,
the best.
The cruises.
There's so much there, and you don't have to get your friends to, like, you know, where are we going out for dinner? It's like, hey,
Everything's
we're all going
all-inclusive.
here, going to this restaurant on board, or going to the dining room.
You know what's funny too is
I've been on probably like 10 cruises, and I really didn't want to go on the first one.
Well, the thing is,
I love them now.
I went on my very first big cruise like that last October. My girlfriend and I went out, and then we did the Invicta cruise. But it was funny because I'm a captain, and I've done probably about 1,700 cruises in my life, like for charter boats and stuff, but never in that. The biggest boat I drive is 83 feet, but never like, you know, a 1,000-foot ship. I mean, that was totally different. I mean, that's out of my wheelhouse, but still, it's really cool. So I just really encourage you guys, go to invictacruise.com. If you're on the fence, trust me. I mean, it was, for so many of us, it was just a real highlight in our lives.
Yeah, so many people say, a cruise, I can't do anything. I feel like I'm, you know, captive. No, there is so much to do. Even if you went for a week, there would be still things you'd wish you had time for that you're not going to have time for. So now we're going to jump into the Jason Taylor Excursion, limited edition. There's not a lot of these made. It is, and it also comes with the 3-slot dive case as a bonus. The dial.
I agree.
In the black.
This
Wow.
is in fact, this is one of
Holy
my
smokes.
favorite watches during the course of the show.
I could see that.
It's a standard 50 millimeter on that on the Excursion, but I just really love and appreciate the mother of pearl that we put inside of this Excursion. And we've done other Excursions before, but this one is that reserve model. Not all Excursions are the reserve caliber, but then it's also that Jason Taylor edition. And so Jason Taylor, he's been working with us now since 2012. I think he started at the end of 2012 with us, with the first show with Allison. And he puts his design in, his ideas into some of our timepieces to just make, do his spin, his take, his influence on some of the watches. And so what you get with this watch is you just get with that center link that goes along with this watch, you'll see is all done in that matte finish or that shot blast finish that goes through, which we haven't done on this watch before. Usually it's all that high polished finish that goes all the way around. So just a different take on it. What we've placed inside then for the movement is one of our go-to movements, and it's that 5040D Ron, and it's Swiss movement that you have on the inside. And again, look at Mr. Kessler's just rocking out a couple different watches
Although
tonight.
that's really the one that I want.
Well, let's put this one on your
here
wrist.
we go.
I'll
Let's
swap.
switch.
I'll swap you
We'll
out.
talk about that one. I'm just going to admire the black dial on my wrist. This is nice. 60% off too. That's a big deal. You know what? The first thing I noticed, not only an aerial view of this one, because again the balance of it is beautiful, but I also like the fact that the sub dials aren't dished out.
They're subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what
You didn't
we'll do.
create separate dishes, because then you would have gotten less of the mother of pearl.
That's absolutely the reason why, Brian, because a lot of times we'll have halos going around the individual sub-dials. But again, we still want to have that functionality that you get with this particular movement, but we just didn't want to have the big, bold rings going around just to take away from that beautiful organic material. And even this white mother of pearl, you don't have all the pops of the Orients that you have with the black, but still, it's just a beautiful material to have on the inside of the watch. And the funny thing is, and believe it or not, I thought it'd be a different watch. The watch that I see when I travel, like in airports, when I see people wearing Invicta watches, I usually identify the Excursions first out of any other watch that I see. And it's typically due to just all the high polishing, which this watch actually doesn't have, which makes it unique.
God, these pushers are comfortable too.
All right, and you know what? Actually, that's the way we designed it, so it just fits your finger perfectly.
I mean,
that's called a fancy shape.
No matter what finger you're using to start the pushers on those chronographs, it's just a real smooth design.
Yeah.
It's not the raised button.
Right, it just
bullet
fits.
style.
Just see how this is right here. So it just perfectly fits in with the curvature of your thumb to be able to start that chronograph.
And I know you guys have made fancier ones, but I just think that this one is, for those of you who are going to use a chronograph,
This would be.
I think you're going to put a smile on your face every time you go to set it. Again, 60% off. This is Jason Taylor. It's limited edition. Can we talk about that and how these are numbered?
Yeah, number limited edition. If we look at the case back of this watch,
Right.
that's where you'll find it. Jason Taylor, his signature is back there. And also, if you look just underneath the Jason Taylor for Invicta, I'll just move the camera out of the way. You'll see it's number 128 out of 999. Question was if Jason Taylor is going to be on the cruise. I haven't heard any confirmation yet, but I think there's probably a good chance that he will be. He was in fact supposed to be on the cruise last year, but just before the cruise, he found out that he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame. So, and he had some meetings he had to attend for that and unable to actually be on the cruise. So hopefully this year, he will be on it. And let me tell you, you'll definitely be able to pick out Jason on that ship. He's about 6'5", shoulders
I'm
out
sure
to
he'll
here.
be holding court
He'll definitely be holding
minute
court.
that he's outside
Yeah.
of his own stateroom. That is
Yeah.
for sure. But hey, whether he joins the cruise or not, there's going to be a lot of fun people on it, and some friends that you're going to be able to meet from, anywhere in the world that all have that same love of timepieces like you do. So, should we show the toolkit? Because again, on the bracelet watches,
that's a good point, Brian. Because if you don't have a toolkit yet,
because this could save you a lot of money just being able to take the links
Yeah.
out yourself as opposed to running to a jeweler.
Well, that's it. You save the time. You save the time
Do it
going to a
anytime.
jeweler, and then they usually, depends on your relationship with your jeweler. Typically, you have to pay, but all you really need is you need the mallet and the stand and one of the punch pins over here. That's what I use to pound out the pins and then to put them back in. And then I use this for my micro adjustment right here, this individual tool right here. So if you need to push out those micro adjustments, you can do so. And this little toolkit will definitely pay for itself after a couple of
If you want to grab this, it is item number 603256. That's also on 6 Value Pays. In fact, if you're just tuning in, again, Invicta Ryan is here. My name is Brian. Been a host here for about 14 years, but I like to be on these shows because I get to learn more than I would watch and even learn watching a regular broadcast.
And I've known you for years.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I helped you move? What did we move like through the neighborhood one time? It was like a cabinet or an armoire?
For Connie.
Yeah, long time ago.
Something I didn't need, she wanted it, so
we had it on like some weird, we had it on some like dolly system and just like
pushing it through our neighborhood.
Up hills and down and just. All right, are we going back over to talk here a little bit about this? I'm surprised we didn't ruin that armoire. Seriously.
I'm surprised you and I didn't just give it up and push it in somebody's yard and act like we didn't know
probably pretty
about
close.
it. Yeah.
All right, JT watches are all winners. Quadruple check on that. Ryan, which watch are you wearing? Bear 1854 asks. Actually, I'm just wearing my Grand Diver. It's model number 3044. It's my go-to watch that I just talk about all the time. I did post it on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, you're not following me, follow me after the show, Invicta Ryan, and you can follow me on Facebook also, because I'll be posting today's top value that's coming up. I did one post last week with my girlfriend about the big top value that's coming up here on Saturday night. So I'll be posting more of that watch also. Let's see, Mike says, I recently saw a picture of a prototype Dragon for a watch face. Any more word on this amazing face? Actually, Justin posted that. I noticed that. Also, I haven't seen that yet. So I think it's a prototype. I don't know if it's in full production yet or not. Let's see, Richard says, hi, Tech Pro, any Marvel updates? I can say very soon. I don't know an exact date. And that's the reason why you should follow me on Instagram, Invicta Ryan. Also follow Justin, Being Zimmer on Instagram, because that's where you'll find out. You'll get a heads up. Yeah.
Just didn't want to forget, can we show the Meteorite dial watch again before we go, unless it's completely sold out?
Yeah.
$1,350 timepiece. That's Evine's price, and we had it for like $309.
$309. And it's
it was like
numbered,
1,040 off.
Numbered limited edition, and I know we had a handful.
Yeah, probably the most affordable you'll ever find it.
Yeah.
642-534. 642-534. And let me see what the millimeter size was on
38.
that. 38,
Yep,
okay.
38
great.
millimeter.
Probably the most affordable you'll ever find in a Meteorite. I mean, because I remember usually about $1,000 is what you're going to have to budget for to get that. Awesome seeing you. So you're back tomorrow night again, time?
Yeah, I'll be back with Justin. We're at the power play. I think we're with Allison, and we'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern. So definitely stay tuned for that show. We'll have some fun watches and some more announcements too.
Yep. I'll be around on our regular broadcast channel with As Seen on TV products. That'll be at 1 a.m. Eastern, so stick around for that.